Ahoy there, mateys! By goodness gracious, just as my what do I say in pirate talk? Co-host is not a pirate talk, but it is now. So my co-host just told me he's getting a little deja vu. I think it's just a glitch in the matrix. Remember, it's like seeing the cat walk by twice. Um, did anything happen prior? This is the first time that we are trying this officially.
I there I was minding my own business, and all of a sudden I got teleported here. So, what's
I heard
up?
some rumors. I heard rumors that Beetlejuice was involved, but I don't want to cast any shade. Hold on, I this deja vu is really hitting me hard. Bass girl could have swore. Oh, speaking in code, like in binary or non-binary, or non-binary. Sorry, see, I'm a mess. I am a tizzle and a tiff, whatever that means. White dragon, not to be confused. See, I was trying this joke before. It didn't want to happen. We're going to test the waters. We got Eduardo checking the waters for this joke to be safe.
Got his pirate map, so we can navigate this.
We should be good. I mean, he's got everything. Okay, bells, whistles, pirate hat, little eye patch. Okay, and Maxwell, I see you. So White Dragon, not to be confused with Nikita Dragoon. Oh, hey, that was so worth that. Oh God, I can't even tell you how stressful that and anxiety driven I get when that happens. I'm sure you guys can hear it as I mumble insanities to myself. But okay, the intention of the stream. All right, welcome aboard. First off, welcome aboard the ship of the Progressive Patriot and Seafowl's Pleasure Cruise. No homo. And we're gonna do something kind of unique today. Is hey Crystal, my oh my god, my ex from way back in the past, reincarnated, Sunny Valentine, one of my new favorite people, checking up on like how I kind of came up in the YouTube world, which is insane. Without
Yeah,
further
right.
ado, yeah, well, I mean, it's how many people have you had like check out your whole past to understand you better?
I'm sure more than I think, but everyone kind of comes to the same conclusion. We got stuck in a weird, unfortunate situation.
We had a well, yeah, I think everybody involved at the time. We just had a weird story arc in our anime, and I think all of those bad arcs played out. The filler content is done, and that brings us to today. And hello, peaceful pug. Hello to you. Okay, so I'm shaking it off, and what I would like to announce is something occurred to me today. Okay, first I did something kind of rare. All right, I am a fan of Tom McDonald, but when I say that, I don't always feel entirely sincere. I like his messages, I like what he's about, and I've heard a couple songs, right? Compared to, say, Upchurch, I've heard more of Upchurch's material. It doesn't have to be a battle or a comparison by any means, but I do feel much more pulled towards an individual like Tom McDonald because his messages seem to be very heavy with things that I agree with and align with. People call him red pill heavy or whatever. Red pills, as he states in the song, just so happen to sometimes be loaded with the truth a bit more. So when I did propose this idea to Sea Fowls, I found it fascinating as he explained. What would you say about yourself? You say pretty much you're the outsider. I'm more plugged in politically. You are, how would you say?
Yeah, kind of the outsider, the I don't know if outcast is the right word, but I don't read too much into politics. I kind of look at the entire government and government officials as all on the same side of the fence. Like it's not left or right to me. It's kind of a bunch of politicians doing what politicians do, which is try to line their pockets as best they can.
Yeah, I think that's category number one, which is the people that so-called say that they're our constituents, or no, we're the constituents, and they're supposed to have our best interests at heart. That's been a line of BS for longer than I can remember. I cannot remember the last time I have felt represented by the government, by a government that's been able to do anything significant. And I think, like Tom McDonald's music, is a reflection of how we feel, even the outsider like you. And actually, he talks about reasons why. anybody should feel disenfranchised and not impassioned about how everything is working. And it just seems none of it works for us, working class. It's for the wealthy, the people that are already plugged in or married in, and it's, as George Carlin famously said, it's a big club and you ain't in it.
No,
So,
exactly. I think
sorry,
I think
please continue.
first of all, Tom McDonald does come from like he came up, he struggled, he knows what it's like to just be so dirt poor, you're almost hopeless, and then watching some dude driving around in his fucking Mercedes, all nice suits on and stuff, be like, I'm for the people. And it's like, bro, I'm going to give you $25 and drop you in the middle of a city and we'll see how far you make it. Like, it's such a different life. You might as well be a different species.
This is another very strong example as to why I think it's hilarious that anybody pretends your most, the person that's trying to come off the most intellectual is the one that tries to tell you they know who you should vote for the greater good. That always makes me have a good belly laugh. And then that same person, like MSNBC, CNN, and all the mainstream outlets, will look at you and be baffled. Why do they keep going to Trump? Because Trump was the opposite of everything we've all only known, which is that tailored up suit, absolutely pretending to be connected with America. And just like on YouTube, when somebody's on there, you can tell if it's full of shit or if it's sincerity. And whether you find him offensive or not, he's got things to say and they resonate. Love him or hate him. I get into these battles with my family all the time. Fowles, have you ever done a music reaction?
Uh, yeah, I've done a few. I've actually reacted to a few of Tom McDonald songs,
Okay.
some Tech Nine, Chris Calico. I've done a few. It's hard on YouTube, man, because they want to copyright strike you and take it down. So I've
Well, okay.
tried to navigate that and find artists that aren't gonna just pull their content off. But I wouldn't say I'm a reactor. I'm definitely a fan of music, and I have showed mostly songs about like mental health and overcoming addiction. And it's kind of less of a reaction and more of like a, hey, I like this song and this got me through some dark times, and here's the message I get from it.
Well, what is it? I want to make sure that I'm making a factual statement here because of the unfortunate disbeef crap between Upchurch and Tom McDonald. The only reason I really hate it is because it's a useless divide between people that should be getting along, and the powers that be love it when there is a divide, especially one they didn't intend to have there in the first place. Somebody said, you know, one does, if it's not positive, he will strike you, and the other one does not. But I cannot accurately say which one does what. But anyway, without further, I know I could say there was once, remember, I was heavily Creek Squad positive in the beginning. I still like some of the music, but that doesn't mean I worship anybody. I was getting poked at today at somebody's chat. I remember you, laughing at me because I go on this and that channel. It's amazing at the mentality people will hold, and it's just even easier to laugh at. But I digress. Do you have anything to add before I pull this video up,
Yeah,
sir?
yeah, real quick. This was like 10 plus years ago. I think I might have even still been in high school, but one of my skateboard buddies, we're all at his house hanging out, doing what we did, whatever. And his cousin came home and was like super bummed because girls were making fun of her in school because I don't even remember what artist, but she was into some music and people were like, oh, that music sucks, blah, 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 just being shitty high school kids. And he looked at her and went, does this music make your ears happy? And she was like, well, yeah. And he was like, then who fucking cares? Listen to the music that makes your ears happy. And that's that.
It should be that simple, honestly. Uh, like the tribalism that is sometimes I still get faced with. Oh my God, you like that person? I mean, everybody, no matter if you like their rhythm or not, is putting out their own experience or their own message. You don't have to really vibe with it, but you certainly don't have to hate on others that do. That makes you weak for anybody out there that, let's say, for hypothetically, somebody that is accustomed to this page from way back when being 100% Greek Squad from a year ago. Yeah, sorry that you're in for a rude awakening. I like somebody else that's an artist. Please don't chastise me or burn me at the cross. So without getting anybody, and I am all kumbaya peace, okay? Live, let live. I hope they all prosper and all fences are mended. I hope. Can you guys see that right there? Can you see like Tom McDonald right now?
I
See
can.
Phil?
Uh,
Or
oh,
chat?
I can see it.
You can. Okay,
I'm
yeah. No,
checking.
that means they can see it. If you can see it, that means they can see it. All right. So
Yeah, we're good.
I'm going to play it. I'm going to pause it here and there. Since I can't see you at the moment, Fouls, I need to hear you, and I'll pause it. Okay. And just as
Okay.
well, I will pause it when I hear a bar that I want to break down. Let me add the captions, which I never really do. Oh, unavailable. Screw it. Let's go. Let's rock and roll. No, let's go hip hop style. Starting now. Oh,
I am not Republican, I am not a liberal. Why the hell can't I just be American without getting political? The system gon' suppress us all, they don't care about the cost. How's this a democracy when we got communists in charge? Cancel culture Nazis, all they're missing is the swastikas, honestly.
okay. Already. I have to say something. Uh, Tell me if you agree or disagree. Remember, I can't see you. I do believe with that opening bar immediately addressing how we are pretty much controlled by communist sympathizers. Do you think it's fair to say that we're pretty much run by the Democratic Party, which is also associated with the progressives like Ilhan Omar, Nina Turner, and all of them?
Uh, yeah. At this point, yeah. And I honestly, like I said, I think it's all. I don't think the sides matter. I know there's this whole thing about left or right or whatever. I honestly think they're all on the same team.
Yeah, no, behind closed doors and curtains in the shadows, they're paying each other. Legislation at the end of the day is being written in their interest. Yeah. But I do believe, though, when it comes to the media, which is the only thing this government seems to show they have any real power in, it is always a bias towards the left ideologies that are harmful, like, hey, let's give testosterone and hormone pills to children, within the realm of 6, 8, 12, in mostly blue states. So immediately,
Oh yeah.
I hear him pretty much just shouting from the mountaintops. We're under a certain bias already. Okay, let's keep going further.
This is a psychological holocaust, pumping propaganda through the screen and straight into your brain. You ain't on a plantation, but you definitely still a slave. Race theory is indoctrinating children. Tell blacks they're disadvantaged, tell whites they got white privilege. What a brilliant.
Anything you want to add on race? What is it? Critical race theory? That's a big one that he just
That
touched on.
that psychological Holocaust line got me. That's one of the maybe not the craziest, but that's one of the best metaphors I've heard in a long time. And to be perfectly honest, I've never understood critical race theory other than it seems like kind of an out for people to be like, my skin's a different color and that's why life sucks. Like, is it though? Like,
It essentially introduces at far too early of an age. Like, I think it's safe to say, based on how old you and I are, when we were growing up in elementary school, we weren't taught about these crazy differences between how bad or how bad it was for the blacks and slavery. Like, I think we heard about important figures, but it wasn't harped on. Now, it is my understanding that it goes so far as to pretty much make you feel bad that you're white. I'm just gonna rip the Band-Aid off there, which is the most harmful thing you can do when you're trying to teach children to get together and just I don't know, embrace one another is immediately teaching them that there is hateful differences and that there was a whole byproduct of hate from past, present, and in the future. I don't know if
Right.
I
That's what I'm saying. Like I feel like we were taught like slavery was bad. That should not have happened. That was messed up. You can't own people. And then that's kind of where it stopped. It wasn't this like there's this intergenerational government conspiracy racism and everything is controlled by a certain race of people and therefore we should all just give up because we can never win. It's like, whoa, I don't want flip that around and make that about white people. Like I don't want to think that I can never win because whoever it may be, the Asians run the world. Like that's insane.
I just learned this recently, so maybe mind being blown for everybody here, for who is learning this at this moment. They removed the constitutional protection of oh God, what is it called? What is it? Affirmative action. Apparently, is gone. It's still in practice. I know it's still in practice by businesses, but affirmative action, from what I've learned today, by a body of the government, has actually been removed. To me, that's progress. People will call me a bigot for that. Secondly, about the psychological holocaust, I think those two words do describe perfectly social media becoming a byproduct of the mainstream media and how the platforms are becoming so heavily based on censorship and controlling every bit of information and fact checking. So, yeah, those two words also, they hit me just as hard as they hit you. All right, so I'm gonna hit play. Sorry, I can't see, so we're working on our instincts here.
No, you're good.
Vision. If whites believe they have it easy, they will never help you fight the system. And now they burning books in untraditional ways. They just traded newspapers for the digital age. Now the facts can be deleted with no physical flames. They just change the information and the truth gets erased.
Burning books used to be just associated with the Nazis. Oh, the good old days. Now, that's the playbook of the DNC. Not to sit here and lie that the GOP conservatives have not done that because of stuff like I will never agree with, this is all demonic. I'm not that guy. But burning books because of, I don't know, because of being a snowflake, that makes me absolutely irritated. And then the books that they want to push through that have sexual innuendo and that they allow for children to see, those are allowed. You have anything on that?
I think my mind goes to, okay, yeah, they used to burn books to destroy information. Now they just take down posts and block people's channels and cancel people, cancel culture. Like, isn't that really the same thing? Just taking away information?
Yeah, I mean, well, at the end of the day, it's something that helps to control the narrative, and it is the people behind controlling the narrative that are ultimately in the place of power. So, yeah, that being said, all right, I'm going to roll forward. I had another point, but I want to keep, we're new at this. Cut some slack here.
Yeah,
all right, we're going.
We're 43 seconds in.
Yeah, right. Drew that.
They keep screaming to wake up, but they're all woke, not awake. We know the system has failed us and all the media's fake. I swear the government hates us. Having opinions is dangerous. The system built to enslave us only works if we're afraid. I am not Republican, I am not a liberal. Progressive and traditional are hitmen hired to kill the individual. They label people red or blue, divide us, they don't ever help. They want you thinking left or right, so you ain't thinking for yourself. Go ahead and vote.
Anything? Or are you good? It's okay. No, I just asked. But
I'm good right now. I like the point he made about the media is fake.
And the whole like progressive or liberal are the hitmen, because progressive to me now, even though I've identified, look at my name. Okay, look at my freaking name, Progressive Patriot. When I was so passionate about working for Bernie Sanders' campaign twice, that was a way of life for me. And that's a problem. I let it completely overtake who I would and would not talk to based on my beliefs. That's when I allowed the whole left and right tribalism work on me. And yeah, I was a part of the divide, and I thought I was awake. He said, what is it? They're woke, not awake. And I like that he made that differentiation in the chorus.
Oh yeah, yeah, I like that part too. Woke, not awake. That like quote unquote woke people are some of the least common sense people, to say it nicely, that I've ever met.
And I love his excuse me. I love his actual cadence in his rhyming and the way he's delivering very powerful messages. Like, and it's super fucking. Oh, not trying to drop f bombs on this one. It's just got a super nice rhythm to actually listen to super important information. I'm actually, this is one of the few artists, if not one of the only ones, I can say I'm proud that this man is making music. All right, here we go.
Cause both the parties are the same side. Two teams, one coach, controlled by the same guys. Left wing, right wing, both help the same bird fly. Brainwashing everybody at the same time. The internet was once a place that we could get our facts from. Now it's been monopolized, it's Google or it's Amazon. Who fact checking the fact checkers? I can answer that one. The people who control the narratives through the platforms. Let me break this down for you, simple as I can, Kate. They use social conditioning to put you in the rat race. It doesn't matter if you're first or third or if you're last place. You're still a rat and they're the cats who kill you so you can't escape.
Oh, yeah.
They keep screaming to wake up, but they're all woke, not awake. We know the system has failed us and all the media's fake. I swear the government hates us, having opinions is dangerous. The system built to enslave us only works if we're afraid.
There's one simple sentence I want everybody to like remember and embed it in your brain, and I hope this goes from generation to generation. The government does hate us. They resent us. We're nothing more than numbers and taxpayers. They do not care about us. They hate us.
I also,
sorry, go ahead.
As the hip hop fan in me, really liked just the beat and the way it went when he was talking about basically everyone being a rat and then the cats that are gonna kill us. Like,
yeah.
God, that went hard.
I mean, it perfectly describes our everyday reality. We are the rats running the rat race. We have no control over how this running in this circle goes. And at the end of the day, whenever we think we're going to retire, which a lot of Americans don't anymore, or get our pensions and they keep moving the retirement age, whenever this hypothetical time comes, if it comes, it's them, the fat cats, that do get us for the kill at the end. The bad guys win, guys, and it's our government.
I am not a liberal. I am just a man who knows they're scared of a nation that's thinking critical. They kill us or they lock us up for nothing like we're criminals. Divide us because they know that unified we are invincible. Questioning the government's agenda is controversial, but promoting guns and liquor in our music is commercial. They're confusing us with pronouns they made up to make us triggered. You can call me what you want, but just don't call me late for dinner. School teaches you to learn and never teaches you to think. So you absorb misinformation, then you practice what they preach. You ain't free, can't you see that's how they want you to act? It's called conforming to the norm. You don't need freedom for that. I'm not Republican or liberal or left-wing or right-leaning. I took the red pills because that's who's fighting for my freedoms. And you don't need to choose to be accepted. They both fake teams. Evil runs the world now like hell ain't got no vacancy. They keep screaming to wake up, but they're all woke, not awake. We know the system has failed us and all the media's fake. I swear the government hates us. Having opinions is dangerous. The system built to enslave us only works if we're afraid.
You don't hear such truth bombs, so commonly. And dude, like, this album is, I don't know where it's at. I know the song Facts went #1 globally, dude. The one he did with Ben Shapiro. That means so much to me. It's so crazy. Seafowls, there's another Seafowls popping up. There's two of you. Okay, well, you have a clone. Seafowls, everybody. Seafowls has been cloned in real time. By the way, what's up, Mutated Illustrations? Holy crap. And welcome back, clone of Seafowls.
Hi, everyone. I am, in fact, a clone. Sometimes I phase in and out of reality. It comes with being a infinite, all powerful, all knowing being who's friends with a chinchilla.
Sorry, I am definitely lost in the comments. Very interested. What's up? Keep the peels, by the way, and mutated. Trisha, hello, hello. Let's see. CRT, what was that? Yeah, see, that's the consensus, and this is what I'm talking about. This comment right here is considered a red pill. It just so happens, and it's been very annoying for me as somebody that's always considered themselves a Democrat for the longest time, that the truth just so happens to be coming from a conservative base. Every time I look at these hearings, it's somebody on the right that's defending the freedom of speech. That's on making some point that has an impact on the American working class. And every time I listen to the left, it's shilling and pandering for the billionaires. I thought, now I understand how there was a party swap way back when. You remember that they said pre-Civil War the parties were reverse. I
Mm-hmm.
entirely believe that I see, because it seems to be happening in real time, the switch. What's crazy to me is that it's completely psychological, and people don't even realize that the switch is occurring. So they're still calling themselves something when they no longer stand for what it used to represent.
So that actually, like, even as somebody who I don't consider myself political, I don't identify with either party really. Like, I'm kind of just a dude trying to survive in life. But back in high school, like in when I had like government class and history class and all of that, I was like, I'm a stoner, I'm kind of a hippie, I'm a free spirit. I want like equal rights for everyone. I guess I must lean more towards the Democratic Party. And as I've gotten older and just watched what's going on and like heard what people on the left are saying, what people on the right are saying, and looked at it from the outside, suddenly I found myself like, oh, whoa, well, now I must be Republican because everything they're saying is the stuff I believe. And I had that moment of like, wait, but I thought I was left, but I guess now I'm right. But what is happening here? And I feel like I noticed that exact swap you're talking about.
I believe any time where you find yourself as a regular everyday American confused, I absolutely believe that that is by design. That is the playbook and or strategy by the same government that employs three-letter agencies that use things like MK Ultra, psyops, what is it, red flag operations, and all that. Our government has essentially made the rule book on espionage and telling lies and having entire populations believe it. So if you can't sit down for a second and consider that the government, no matter how much in love you are with the party, and it should be principle over party. You should never just be blindly loyal, like these fools that are going to sit here and vote Biden because they're being loyal to the party. Okay, shit like that. Um, it's not by any means a crazy stretch to believe that our government is absolutely out to get us.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, there is that. And again, like I never identified with anything. I was just like, I guess I identify more with what these people are saying. And then after maybe 10 years or so, I looked at it again and was like, wait, now I identify with the other people. I thought this was supposed to be like these guys are all the same people, aren't they? And that's kind of when I decided, like, oh, it's all just essentially the same thing, same monster in a different mask.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at the end of the day, when our money, the taxpayers' dollar goes somewhere, it goes to them. And where I get confused is like Biden and the current administration, the DNC mostly, are sending so much damn money in the name of foreign aid to the Ukraine. And then Tucker Carlson gets crapped on by every mainstream outlet, including Fox, just for talking to the guy that's a part of the conflict that we apparently desperately want to go bankrupt for. And it just, none of it makes sense. When anybody starts to get demonized this day in our country, current day, I immediately want to do more research into who they are, because every time it always seems like the person that is being made to look like the bad guy has something else really going on. Like they're trying to hide whatever message they're trying to spread, which is why we have so many.
I
Sorry, please go ahead.
I feel that so much. Just being the guy over here trying to, help people not have addictions and not struggle through mental health. But apparently, I'm a cult leader and I'm evil, and there's all these things. I'm just like, man, okay. I just want people to like not smoke crack, but whatever.
Well, that's a good example of, the playbook again. Like lesser beings, people of very small intelligence will be the first ones to use the same tactics in a less intellectual way by using words that have a complete misrepresentation of who you are and what you do. And I'm pretty well aware of at least one of those disgusting, deplorable human beings. They simply say things that would confuse somebody that has no idea who you are or what you're about. And usually that's the strategy to prevent anybody new from going to seek and check for themselves. They want you to, just like the demonization of Tucker Carlson for daring to interview Putin. Oh my God, it's the world is going to fall apart because somebody that has a conservative background is interviewing a world leader who is one of the reasons we're in a huge conflict. I mean, that's a big point I'm making. To make the smaller point, it's the same strategy, man. People telling lies
Yeah,
about you and using, absolute fallacies and nonsense. That's them being afraid of you, bro.
exactly. And to go back to the song we just listened to, it's the fake media that's like, oh no, if whatever, pick any fact of life you want. If this gets out and people start to believe that, I don't know, the people have the power, or the government works for us, or the truth is far more powerful than any lie you can ever tell. If people start to believe that, well, then there goes my bazillion-dollar uh, lobby party that's paying for my 12 yachts and my big ass mansion.
The lobby, the legal pay to play way that our politics, where it's literally, if you had the time to use a fine tooth comb and read legislation that's been written, it is legal to pay to play in politics. It's legal to, like, the fact that corporations are recognized as voters, or the whole idea in the
Yeah.
DNC of what's it called, a super delegate. A super delegate means that they have pretty much, in a nutshell, let's say 5,000 times more recognition and voting power. And that means 5,000 more votes than a singular voter that's just a regular person like you or I.
Right.
So
So if I vote for John Doe over there and Google votes for his opponent, his opponent just got 5,000 votes to my one that came from an actual person who probably actually cares about the issues.
which is why even when I was working for Bernie Sanders, man, I grew so exhausted of the DNC's protocol, their primary nonsensical bullshit, where you have to have the electoral college. It needs to be abolished. I heard everybody under the sun explain to me why it's super necessary. But all right, here's the explanation. You tell me what you think. And I might be a little bit wrong. You guys can fact check me on this. It was explained that if we did not have the electoral college, larger states that have a larger population would get more of a say than states with the smaller population. So therefore, they assign super delegates to represent the states, and they don't always coincide with the interests of their own constituency. They'll vote what they want to, no matter what, and they cannot be persuaded. That's what that bastard Howard Dean did. his people voted Bernie Sanders. He said in a tweet, that little bastard, he even like, that's like flicking us off and saying, na 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 poo poo. He said, no, I'm voting Biden, even though his people wanted them to vote Sanders. So what's the point?
Yeah, no. First of all, there's a rat on my back. Where?
Just Eduardo.
No, when I learned about yeah, this is Eduardo, by the way. He is the captain of the ship, and his eye patch eye shoots lasers and puts out Wi-Fi. So that's how I can do this sailing the seven seas.
That's why your connection is awesome.
Yeah, for real though. But when I learned about the electoral college in high school, and granted, I'm not saying I'm like a scholar, I barely paid attention, but we learned about that. And my first thought was, oh, so all the people in the state get to vote, and then one guy gets to vote for the whole state. So what if that one guy wants something else than the majority of the state decides? So our votes just pretty much don't matter. And I know that's like going to be tarred and feathered for saying that your vote matters. But I always thought like, yeah, but if there's a buffer between the people and the actual election, and so right there, it's rigged. They're just all going to vote for whatever they want to.
See, then I ask myself, I consider myself very passionate. I saw some misinformation, like in real time. One of my coworkers, she is a Republican. She got a text message because she's on one of the many groups that, you sign up for one of the parties and they send you messages. She got a message from one of these and thought it was legitimate. So did I. That said Trump was officially removed from the ballot. I was alarmed when I heard that, for me, because I intend to vote for him, given that he is able to exercise his constitutional right to do so, and they don't get him on all these nonsense charges, these witch hunts funded by our dollars. I spoke to CanCon, Cannabis Conservative, who you guys will be seeing on this channel next week, Wednesday or Friday. He said, nope, that's absolute bunk. So the misinformation is out of control. Matter of fact, Bass Girl, are you still here? We can do we don't have to react to everything. We could play a little something and pause. Let me see. If it was a popular vote, only 500 counties would decide who was president. So there you go. All right. So apparently, how does it go? Apparently, if there was no electoral college, it would be chaos. So we need the super delegates. Then I wish the super delegates could actually, I don't know, represent the people as they have spoken. Maybe there's something that not even I understand. Sorry, go ahead, buddy.
I get, like, I understand that obviously a state like, I don't know, like New York or California or somewhere with a huge population is going to be able to outvote somewhere in the middle of the country with like a quarter size of the population. I just I feel like it's too much power. If you put that on one person or a group of people, they're just going to do whatever they want to either way.
Well, I mean, okay, you said, no, are you talking about the super delegates? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my concern. Like with, hey, Saffron, welcome. That's my concern with seeing, as I did back then, and all the people, Diana Brazil, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, like all these pieces of shit that went out of their way to really stick their middle finger up at us and in us, in some cases, to just let us know that they weren't listening to our voices and our votes, and we all played by the rules, and we watched their fake news media hit the stands, like in Las Vegas. They said, oh, Bernie Sanders supporters were throwing chairs at the delegates, which was BS, and there was video evidence, but the news and the newspapers ran with it anyway. So it's just been ever so clear, crisp and clear, which is why I'm so confused. And I hope all of us here, I'm sorry to say this, I hope we're all confused as to why we haven't been able to take our country back, because it's so obvious.
I exist in confusion. That's why I sail the seven seas with a chinchilla. And also, I saw Keeps in the chat. I agree. Buy AMMO. That's going to be a lifesaver.
Did you say buy what now? Wait, are you selling Bitcoin? What?
A
Buy
space M
Oh,
space
thank you.
M.
I say thank you, good sir. Very wise.
Try not
Yes.
to get your channel struck.
I mean, to be honest, I've learned some interesting things doing research recently, and I got a special video. Base Girl, this is the one I sent you
Ooh.
earlier. You sounded very intrigued there. Wait, shall we have a real time live brain fart? Was I actually distracted in this very moment? Oh, screw it. Let me show you guys this. Okay. Do you want to say something before I show this very alarming video? Super alarming.
No, I'm more just intrigued at what Base Girl sent you because she sends me cool shit all the time
No, no,
too.
no. I sent it to her in turn. She sent the video of the robot that I thought was real at first too. Oh, and
Okay.
yeah, and your advocacy of the Second Amendment. Yes, my stance on the Second Amendment is immovable. I don't care about the scare tactics. I listened to it today. There was recently a pew pewing in Kansas, and they're trying their best to push the whole narrative of when is enough enough, and somehow it always equals stripping citizens of their rights. That's never ever in this country that was founded on being rebellious and being armed. We literally had to usurp a tyrannical government, and somehow the good guys think it's a good idea to push restricting the Second Amendment, and they're doing it bit by bit by bit. Man, pisses me off.
Well, and I am from the woods, like legitimately from the woods in a town of under 2,000 people. Everybody hunts. Everybody has firearms. You don't have to go looking. They're just everywhere. You know what never happens? Our local Safeway never has a pew pewing because guess what? For every one dude that would do that, there's 15 dudes around him that are just ready to stop that.
Okay, yes, see, that's another point that I love to jump to is when they always ignore the fact that a well-armed populace can police their own, and we have literal video examples of just that happening. And man, every 2 seconds I'm reminded of, oh God, I have this. Oh God, I have that. All right, real quick, I want to show this video. I'm terrified and excited about artificial intelligence. This, unlike yesterday's video, this is 100%. You will recognize the YouTuber. He was known as Moist Critical or Penguins. I found this through my Facebook of all places, but this is crazy. You guys remember like 11 months ago? You remember there was like these ridiculous, funny-looking videos of Will Smith eating spaghetti, and he looked freakishly not human.
Yeah.
You do? Okay. I mean, that became like memeable, and it was the laughing. So people were like, oh, and we're supposed to be scared of AI. Well, that was 11 months ago. Okay. I'm going to let somebody much more articulate break it down. Here's fast forward to present day.
Yesterday, OpenAI unveiled Sora, and just like Kingdom Hearts 3, this is looking bad. Sora is text-to-speech video model AI that's able to generate hyper-realistic videos based on the prompts that you give it, and it is astonishing how good some of these look. Now, of course, they're still not perfect. For example, in the video they're showcasing here, these two individuals just fall into the back rooms and vanish. They like fade into the background, transmogrify into that chair or whatever it is. It looks like they take a fucking portkey out of Harry Potter and disappear. So there's still some wonkiness to it. But let me show you what this very same level of technology looked like only 11 months ago. You might remember the infamous Will Smith eating a plate of spaghetti. That was the pinnacle of AI generative videos back then. And in less than a year, we have reached this point. It's advancing faster than I think anyone could have possibly predicted. I've been ringing that doomsday bell with AI.
Right. So, from
that's AI?
Yeah, completely AI generated. Not a real thing about or anything that's in this video is not real. And we went from that ridiculous, hilarious looking Will Smith video to now this is where it's at. And it's only going to get scarier. But this is legit, man. This is AI.
Coming to replace so many things for a while now, but even I didn't expect it to be this good this quickly. It's shocking and downright scary. For the longest time, proof, like irrefutable proof, would always be like a video of something. Like if you need to confirm that something actually happened, you would ask for the video evidence of the event. But now, with AI tools developing as quickly as they have, we've reached the point where AI is able to generate realistic videos that are so convincing that you have to question anything that comes out. The only things that you'll ever know for sure are real are things that you yourself see in person, and even then, you might be getting bamboozled. Maybe it's me pulling a magic trick on you where I make a toothpick disappear in front of your face. You can't trust anything, not even yourself anymore. That's the power of AI and the dystopian future we're heading towards. What Sora is able to do right now is good enough to convince the majority of people that whatever they're seeing is authentic, even though it's not real. It's AI generative. This is going to change pretty much everything,
Whoa.
which I've said for a long time. I want to make my position on AI pretty clear since
And just this program right here, OpenAI, all an individual did to get all the footage you guys are about to see is put these few sentences together. Prompt: a movie trailer featuring the adventures of the 30-year-old spaceman wearing a red wool knitted motorcycle helmet, blue sky, salt desert, cinematic style shot on a 35 millimeter film, vivid colors, and then this made itself with AI.
there's often a lot of confusion. I think AI as a technology can be an invaluable tool that will really help in certain fields complement humans and be a really useful instrument for us to utilize, especially when it comes to medical advances in the medical field. For like just one quick example, there are certain uses that I think AI will be invaluable for, but then there are some really evil things that AI will be used for. Off the top of my head, propaganda, deep fake porn, all of these are already starting to pop off. Deep fakes much longer than the other. The just misleading misinformation, a complete era of synthetic fake garbage that will go ahead and expand across the entire internet to the point where it's going to drown out real human creations, artists being replaced, voice actors being replaced because you can just make your own AI models. It'll be cheaper than hiring labor from humans. There are just so many bad things that will come from this technology. And when I saw Sora, I tried really hard to think of a single positive thing that can come from AI generated videos, hyper realistic AI generated videos. And just like me at a height competition,
I'm going to pause his silly joke for a moment. Think about the implications. Like good old fashioned blackmail was a tool when you actually had, let's say, like a legitimate sex tape of somebody in a position of power. Now you could just make an AI version. So like where does it end? When how does it not be perceived as a threat? You know?
Well, exactly. So, like, in my current situation, I have talked about this on and on, and I'm sure people are sick of hearing it, but there's a lot of cyber stalking and harassment going on, and propaganda and rumors and whatever. So now, like, just as an example, one of the things that was used against me was that I prey on vulnerable women, which is obviously not true. But if someone could just make an AI of me being like, I'm going to get all these fucking vulnerable women out there, like, that's terrifying because now it looks like I said something that never happened.
Yeah, forget about even being concerned about clipping with this. And there's we already know how many scumbags are out there and to the lengths that they sink. Who knows how inexpensive it can be. Like he's talking about the big game in the not even the long haul, corporations are just going to end up, rich corporations are going to pay the smallest amount to get the best for their buck. And that's going to
Oh
make
yeah,
the workforce even more, suffer even more. But with people like, I don't know, trolls on the internet, pieces of crap that are on the internet and on YouTube, think about the things that they can and will do. They don't even need to worry about sound bites. He goes on later to explain how you can even just take a brief, like 2 words from, let's say, hypothetically, a child relative of yours. The AI can develop an entire voice scheme, personality, and make this child that sounds like yours or your niece, nephew, and make it sound like they're in danger and they need your money. This has already been a scam that has worked, by the way.
right.
So, just saying.
Yeah, that's, or like, if you want to talk big picture, politicky type stuff, let's say that we would like to go to, I don't know, hypothetically, the Middle East and hypothetically get our hands on some of that sweet, sweet oil. Okay, well, here's this AI video of a Saudi prince saying something terrible about attacking America, and now we better go over there and get him because look what he said.
It's kind of crazy that I didn't think about that. I mean, it's in my consciousness, but yeah, I mean, look, it barely takes anything for us to go completely ham and destroy everything, including ourselves. Remember Yellow Cake by W. Bush Jr.? Oh, look,
Mm-hmm.
they got yellow cake. It's so easy for us to be fooled as it is. Now they're just making it to where they can actually make it look legitimate and make us feel like no, you weren't ever lied to. Look, here's our completely perfectly AI generated excuse video evidence of everything we've ever needed. I don't
Dude,
know that
or
I want
that.
to continue to see this future.
Okay, yeah. So if, I don't know, let's say if a politician is getting in trouble for like maybe doing something creepy to let's say there's another Bill Clinton and everyone wants to know what happened in the Oval Office with Miss Monica. And now there can be a video that comes out of her being like, oh no, that never happened. That was just a rumor, blah, 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 completely discrediting it and making Bill Clinton look like nothing ever happened. Even though she's sitting here being like, no, this happened, everybody, I swear.
I mean, I don't like that. I find myself even coming to terms with all of these like worst possible outcomes, but this is very much the reality that we are all going to have to accept at some point. And what I want to see is the government that I don't trust at all already. What kind of regulations and legislation are they going to put forward? Nothing in our interest, but it'll pretend to look like it at the very least. It's just it anyway. You know what? This is starting to feel like just a big sour note because yeah, look, things suck and all that, blah blah. The government's evil. We know this. So I don't know. Let's flip it up a little bit before the night gets to its culmination here. How has your? Because I only got to catch a little bit of your live from my alleged workplace, the dildo store. How did your
Ah,
live go?
yes. Pretty good. I ranted about essentially about just not letting it kind of ties into this perfectly actually, not letting things that we can't control stress us out to the point where it affects our life and makes us miserable. And like the only thing we can really be in control of is our life and what we want to do with it and what makes us happy. And that's not to say to just ignore all of your problems and hope they go away, but like if there's nothing you can do in the moment, don't let it take your happiness. And then I did some random bits and interacted with the chat and did some polls and yelled at everybody to this sounds so out of context, yelled at everybody to super chat me. But yeah, no, it went.
How do you do the damn polls, bro?
So the way you might be able to do it through OBS, I haven't tried, but the way I do it on StreamYard,
I'm on
Because I have to
StreamYard, bro.
open. I know I have to open another tab to actual YouTube and go to your page, go to this stream, and then down at the bottom of the chat, there will be like the type bar, and then it says, oh yeah, there's the dollar where you can like super chat and stuff, and then there's a little plus sign that says engage with your audience or something like that, and you open that up, and it's like it's a Q&A, a poll, and I think there's a couple other options, and then you can just type in like uh, should we play another video? Should we talk about this? Should we kick C-Files out and ban him from the channel? And then the people can vote because this is a democracy.
At least, you know, they'd want you to believe this. No, yeah, okay, I get the consensus. You really like those polls on your channel, Big Slice. You can't say on you. That's
It's
okay. We got no secrets here. Um,
there are times where I actually am curious about something and I do want the people's reaction to stuff, but honestly, most of it's a bit. I've just been taking all the trolly internet harassy situations and just amplifying them by like 1,000 and just
is this
making
still
it
going
so.
on a lot on your end, by the way? The trolling actively stuff? You still getting raids? Like, I've learned to kind of, I don't know, like, I see like a name, but they don't even mess with me anymore. I'll catch them in another chat and I'll just laugh at them. But I don't know. I think maybe where it used to be intense for me, it's now maybe a little more intense for you.
um there hasn't been a full on raid in a little while. I still get the random ones like this obviously real account that when I clicked on it was totally not made the day that it popped up in my chat. Came in and said something about like, oh, I'm happy you were able to, or I'm happy you're doing good given all the allegations or whatever. And I was like, okay, whatever, dude. And then they were like, I'm going to send you $100. And I was like, sick, do it. And kept my stream going for like another 5 minutes to just challenge this dude. And lo and behold, they never sent me $100.
Okay, so they're messing with your mind by telling you there's allegations and all that. What, dude? That's, you know,
Yeah.
whatever. Childish shit and trolling is always going to be a part of YouTube, just like corruption is a part of the government. Peas and carrots,
Yeah.
man. Jenny
But
and
then
Forrest.
I took that, and on the next show, I was like, okay, guys, I gotta come out with it. It has been alleged that me and Eduardo are sailing the seven seas, and that is true. And it has been alleged that I have been sailing from Egypt to Antarctica, and that is true. And just made up a bunch of random crap and admitted to it.
Okay, well, I mean, it's about time. I'm glad you've finally come clean, and I see you're feeling more brazen about this very illegal device that you're flashing everywhere, and you know, you're liberated, sir. Oh God, not the illegal water. I would not be surprised if one day soon the government's like, yeah, you know, it's illegal to collect rainwater, which that's already a thing, but you know that bottled water illegal. Just like
Yeah,
Oprah with her
right.
cars. Illegal, 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 illegal. Chatting in here in Progressive Patriot and C-Files channel. Illegal. How dare you?
Definitely illegal to be in our chat.
Keep the peels, man. They're coming for you, bro. You've been acting fast and loose too long, man. The powers that be. I'm coming over. We're gonna prepare. We're gonna prep. Anyway, I got no segue. I mean, I do have actually. Is it okay that I just bid you adieu? I mean, I'm gonna play some videos that I'd like to show, and then I'm gonna get on out myself. But is this all right? Where I say thank you and goodbye?
Yeah, thanks for having me on. Thank you everyone for listening to my view on life, I guess. And yeah, I appreciate it, man. Come
Thank
back
you.
on my channel anytime, and we'll keep doing this.
The next time is on your channel. My big thank you to you, sir, is for agreeing to come out of your comfort zone and try this whole music react thing with me. I'm very I respect anybody that's willing to just show up and try some, you know. So thank you for that, brother.
Yeah, if we don't step out of the comfort zone, we'll never find out what works, right? Worst case scenario, this bombs, and you go, we're never doing that again. And I'll go, all right, catch you on the next one.
That hit me in the heart. Thank you. No. All right, bro. I'll catch you later, all right?
All right, have a good night, everyone.
Peace. All right. That's our boy C Fouls. Find him at what is it? Chin Chillin' with C Fouls. He'll be in the chat. Chin Chillin' with C Fouls. Also, his name will be in the description. I'm kicking him out. Okay, there you go. Now some fun videos, real quick, my friends. Remember last night? What was it? I was playing some of these videos. First off, I'm glad that you all were so cool about receiving that possibly, very triggering content where the woman I'm convinced in my heart and my mind that she is a victim of being trafficked and that she cannot find anybody that's either not a dirty cop or the officer like the one that was in the video that spoke out and tried to speak to his superior or his partner. And what was the response? Oh, she's crazy. So, what kind of examples does that set for a good cop who runs into one of the many Americans that are being trafficked, be it a freaking, God forbid, child or a young girl? Like, that was a 20-year-old girl. All right, that's still a brain that's not even fully developed, and she appeared crazy, manic, drugged, drunk, and they focused on how she was a disturbance and not on the words she was saying, on the story she told in great detail about bleeding out in a street corner. Details like 6 ounces, of blood came out, and just that broke my heart. So thank you guys for being willing to see sometimes a disturbing and hard truth and to offer your feedback. We all have to face the devil in some shape or form, especially in the times we're at now. And I hate being that, end is nigh, everything is dark and terrible and evil, but can't help to feel how I feel. So without getting deeper into it, I got some. Hopefully, you'll find some of this to be some of that feel good. Hold on, I gotta cover my face so I can get the link that I saved. All right. Oh, I also found, what was it? There's a couple of things. Let me make sure I find the one though, and not get too far off. Oh, actually, before this, the trapologist stuff, there is something here. Let me get to it. Major Green Taylor.
Yields, I now recognize.
I wanted to play this. It's about FBI's Ray shaking after Taylor Green reveals Facebook leaked message. Now, if this doesn't disturb you or enrage you, please subscribe to Chillin' with C-Fouls. I don't know why I was going to say Chillin' with C-Fouls. If this doesn't piss you off, man, I don't know. I don't know what you're made of. Let me close this out. Everybody just take a breath, have a beer, smoke them if you got them. Check this crap out, man. This is, I think, either the head of the FBI or somebody way up there. Everything he says makes me feel gross.
Now is a gentlelady from Georgia, Miss Green, for 5 minutes of questioning.
Secretary Mayorkas, I want you to look at these innocent Americans. Do you see them?
I do, Congresswoman.
They are dead. They're from Dalton, Georgia, in my district. They're dead because a 17-year-old, likely affiliated with the cartels, was smuggling illegal aliens into our country in Texas, breaking our laws, and this happens every single day in our country. Earlier this week, 8 Republicans joined the Democrats and protected your job. But I want you to know, you have a short time coming. You can honor.
See, good example right there. After C-Fouls and I, a little breakdown of the machine. That's a bipartisan protection of a either corrupt or incompetent FBI director.
Resign or we are going to impeach you. And it's happening very, very soon. Mr. Ray, do you remember on October 18th when the Capitol complex was illegally occupied, breaking same laws that you have hunted down Americans for from January 6th? Are you familiar with this?
I don't recognize the picture that you're holding.
Well, because maybe your agents haven't been doing a good job into investigating the organizers that broke the law.
We need more representatives that aren't afraid to just go on the attack, man. I get it, decorum and being civil. Look, we're not Parliament in London. We're not Canada with however the hell they do their thing. I've seen some videos. I'm not impressed. We're the motherfucking United States, bro. All right, we're the place where you're supposed to go and embrace free speech. I've been collecting videos of people that go to places that are supposed to be respected within being a free speech absolutionist, where you're allowed to say anything, and you have 5 minutes on the clock and blah blah blah. And I've seen videos where these people get arrested just for going after the people that are getting paid by our tax dollars. So I applaud Major E. Green and everybody else under the sun that bares their teeth and says what needs to be said on behalf of the American person.
Illegally occupied this very building that we're sitting in right now, and over 300 of them were arrested. Some of them attacked police officers. I haven't seen on the news where the FBI is hunting them down with helicopters, tanks in the streets, raiding their homes with flashbangs, targeting these people, watching these people, throwing them in jail for them to stay in pre-trial in solitary confinement for years before they ever face trial. You want to know what this says? I'll tell you. This is one of the organizers' phones, and this is a chat, and it says at the top, Global Intifada. Now, while we're talking about terrorism today, are you familiar with the term intifada?
I've certainly heard the term.
Do you know the definition?
I'm not going to try to define it, but
It means
I'm sorry, excuse me, FBI guy, yo, Honorable Ray, whatever the FU, you're not going to try to define it because this is like right in your purview, bro. Come on now. Can you pretend that you do the job of somebody in the FBI? Useless department, if ever I was convinced, especially after J6th. How many plants? 25, 43, who knows? Nobody even cares anymore. We just know you're all corrupt. How many meetings were you at in Twitter before Elon Musk took over? And you were there making sure that certain stories got traction and others didn't. Just like the government, the strong arms of the government, like the FBI, are not our friends. They're our enemies.
Arab uprising or jihad. Are you concerned about jihad in this country?
I am, and I have consistently testified to that effect.
Yes, but are you interested in using the FBI? You are the director of the FBI. Do you hunt down terrorists in our country? Those that would be responsible for jihad?
Absolutely, and that's why we've had jihadist-inspired terrorism at our highest national threat priority level since the day that I started as FBI director.
Do you still use the Southern Poverty Law Center as a source? You use them. The FBI used the Southern Poverty Law Center as a source when targeting Catholics. Are you still using the Southern Poverty Law Center as a source?
Congresswoman, what I think you're referring to is the so-called Richmond intelligence product, which as soon as I learned about it, I was horrified, withdrew it. We had an inspection.
I got to say a big what's up, hello to Silver Girl, who has been an amazing supporter, friend, if I could go so far as to say, at every opportunity, she will send me a topic or a story or something that just enriches me for knowing that it exists. She is to me the pinnacle of a concerned American, and I wanted to thank you as publicly as possible, Silver Girl. You are a true American. You're a patriot, and I salute you. Thank you.
Done, and part of the problem that we found with that particular product by that particular office is precisely what you're talking about, the reliance on the Southern Poverty Law Center and the way in which they relied on.
Well, you relied on the Southern Poverty Law Center, but I would have you know, Mr. Ray, that this one right here, this person involved in the global Intifada group that illegally, they broke the law, came in and occupied the Cannon Office House building, interrupted Congress, interrupted hearings. Right here, Katrina Bleakley is the lead attorney for the Southern Poverty Law Center. Were you aware of this?
Congresswoman, as I said, I haven't seen the photos that you're holding up before.
Maybe, well, I posted them on my Twitter account. It's public. You know, maybe
I don't
you guys
spend a lot of time on Twitter.
Well, you know, you.
That answer is going to backfire real good, and I'm so grateful to Majorie Green, who is somebody that I was absolutely deceived into hating. I thought I was right just because I hated her or disliked her. Yeah, that's how the brainwashing works when you are buying into the tribalism that the government's selling.
Oh, I'm sure you do, because the Department of Homeland Security, organized with other offices, has censored many Americans, including myself.
I'm not part of the Department of Homeland Security.
Right, Mr. Ray, you should be interested in investigating terrorism, and this right here is proof that we had terrorists in our own office building, global Intifada, and you rely on the Southern Poverty Law Centers. Katrina Bleakley is one of the organizers. I'll send this over to your office, so maybe perhaps you can stop targeting innocent grandmothers and veterans who walked through the Capitol on January 6th and might actually go after people tied to Hamas, tied to Hezbollah, and likely Iran. Mr. Ray, are you interested in members of Congress that are organized and participating in a Facebook group that has ties to Hamas?
We're not investigating people for participating in a Facebook group.
Facebook.
Did I just hear somebody in the background in the crowd like go whoa or something? Please tell me. I need to audibly hear other people hearing others explain how broken everything is. I need to be reminded. I know all of you here know very well how I feel. I need to know if some of the people that sit through these very hearings are just as outraged, because the decorum in here frightens me, like they're just dead to it. My pockets are lined. I'm not that invested. Let me just see for a moment.
Group that is tied to Hamas?
We have multiple investigations into individuals affiliated with Hamas, and we have multiple Facebook group.
A Facebook group?
Participating in a Facebook group.
Somebody said something, at least.
Facebook group that is tied to Hamas?
We have multiple investigations into individuals affiliated with Hamas, and they're active investigations.
You're going to tell me as FBI director, you will not investigate Americans or United States members of Congress that are linked to known terrorists?
That's not what I said.
Are you going to investigate or not?
We are going to investigate individuals who are affiliated with.
So just play ball with me here and entertain me. If there's a Facebook group called "Hi, we have ties to Hamas," would you look into that? You complete tard, you absolute empty-headed moron. There is an insult that would do its justice. Like, you don't investigate Facebook groups, really? So does it have to go down to like the most extreme? Does the group have to orchestrate an action that is just horrifying for you to finally say, yeah, no, we're going to look into it? You piece of shit. You piece of shit. And you live off of, well, you live well off of, you live off the budgets that they set you and our tax dollars again and again. Let's always be mindful of that and remind everybody else of that. I never thought I'd consider defunding the FBI. That's probably a moronic thing to say. Maybe I'm too emotional, but I just don't see any good that they're doing. Is that by design? Are they doing something really awesome without my knowledge? Is that the game?
Hamas, if they meet our standards for predication, which are long-standing standards set by this department and the prior department and the department before that.
I would hope to God that Intifada and jihad and terrorists in our very country would be something that you would prioritize instead of a 3-hour event that happened at the Capitol nearly 4 years ago, Mr. Ray. I yield back my time, Mr. Chairman.
The gentlelady yields. I now recognize Mr. Menendez. I think you're up next, sir.
Thank you,
Gentleman
Mr.
from New Jersey
I've not seen this part, so curious.
for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Director Wray, earlier in your testimony, did you say that defunding the FBI would be, quote, a gift to the Chinese Communist Party, quote, more power to the cartels, and, quote, more damage?
That chick right there, she's terrible. Terrible human being. I've seen videos of her. I had one saved. Absolutely awful American. She shouldn't even have the term or have it respected. She's that bad.
Damage to critical infrastructure?
I believe I said words to that effect, yes.
I appreciate that. Not everybody was in the room during that part of your testimony. I want to follow up on what my colleague, Mr. Higgins, said about, quote, armed oppression as one of the primary threats to the homeland. I agree that armed oppression is a massive threat to our homeland, but we need to be clear about what actually constitutes armed oppression. In this country, minority groups are routinely targets of weaponized oppression. Armed oppression is when Black men cannot go safely for a run in Georgia. Armed oppression is when Black youth cannot wear hoodies in Florida. Armed oppression is being LGBTQ in this country.
Wait. Okay. I don't even know. I'm assuming because he's sitting next to that despicable human that he's a Democrat. Look at we all notice it, right? Now we're specifying, therefore making it more compartmentalized and fractioned up. This should be an American walking down the street should be worried about, no, now I'm sorry to say we're going specifically on race now, so we're making a larger issue to a pinpoint, and we lose the entire damn picture. Let me see where it goes.
And not being able to safely go to a nightclub in Florida. Armed oppression is living in a Hispanic community and being targeted while going to Walmart in El Paso. Armed oppression is being Black in this country and not being able to go grocery shopping in Buffalo without being targeted.
Crime is universal, you dumb motherfucker. It's universal. Every American fears it. Do we all want to have the very uncomfortable conversation with statistics and stats? Everybody has a predilection of violence and crime, okay? Do you want to talk about how many of the mass pew-pewers are white? Do we want to talk about the massive numbers of Black on Black crime? Why are we talking about these? He's targeting minorities and making it less about the American people as a whole. Oh man, all about that alphabet soup. This is how they gain control. The pander. Now all the groups that fall for this bullshit and be like, oh, that's my guy. I need to vote for him again.
Because of the color of your skin. Armed oppression is not being able to go safely to a church, synagogue, mosque, temple, or any place of worship to practice your faith. Domestic terrorists have targeted.
You can just say, place of prayer or church. No. He had to go through everyone to sound more diverse. Oh, this guy has gotten all of his coaching right. I bet you he dresses up in full African regalia on Kwanzaa.
Each of these
and gets pegged.
Locations and each of these groups in acts of armed oppression. Yet, when we in the House Committee on Homeland Security established our committee oversight plan for the 118th Congress, my Republican colleagues refused to include capital D, domestic terrorism in our plan. That, in my opinion, is where this committee is failing when we consider our threats to the homeland. New Jersey's 8th Congressional District is home to what Homeland Security experts call the most dangerous 2 miles in America, containing ports, airports, major rail lines, densely populated cities, and chemical plants. I'm proud of the work that President Biden and the New Jersey congressional delegation have done to improve the safety, reliability, and resiliency of critical infrastructure in North Jersey. The Biden administration has aggressively protected our critical infrastructure from foreign adversaries, with President Biden admonishing Russian President Vladimir Putin that certain critical infrastructure is off limits, a stark contrast to President Trump, who proposed a joint cyber unit with Russia. Secretary Mayorkas, when considering the threat landscape, how does the department take into account the risk posed by having multiple critical infrastructure sectors?
Got to find a way to fit in some shade at Trump. He wouldn't be a Democrat if he didn't. Good job. Get an attaboy.
Close geographic proximity.
And can we all? Oh, just did I have to pause it right there? I see right through you, bro. Like this is you. You wish you were John Cena. I see right through you. You're translucent, man. You're so transparent. Oh dear goodness gracious, great balls of fire. I'm telling you. I don't get it. I don't get it. And he found time to praise Biden. Like, who in their right mind can sit by actual statistics and say Biden's doing fantastic? Every time I see an actual conversation start on that basis, it's broken down so quick, so easy. This guy is earning that, extra hustle on the side there.
Congressman, the proximity of elements of our critical infrastructure only increase the challenge that we confront. But we work very, very closely with our critical infrastructure partners. The great majority of this country's critical infrastructure rests in the hands of the private sector. We work very closely with the private sector to ensure the security of our critical infrastructure. The remarkable men and women of the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency do a tremendous job.
And on the issue of cybersecurity, I want to address the current threat landscape. When we talk about cybersecurity, we're talking about threats that don't just come up from nation states like Iran, but often from a network of proxies and affiliated groups. Secretary Mayorkas, how is the current conflict in Israel giving us additional insight about Iranian-backed cyber threat actors?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Of course. How is the current conflict in Israel giving us additional insight about Iranian-backed cyber threat actors?
I think what we are seeing, Congressman, and
when you see a person in a position of power playing nice and not hardball with Mayorkas, they're Biden paid for. They're a shill. They're a fraud.
Defer to my colleagues as well as the use of cyber as a tool in the repertoire of our adversaries. And we're seeing that play out in the Middle East conflict, just as we have seen it in the context of the unprovoked Russian aggression against Ukraine.
Oh, Jesus.
I appreciate that. One more question for you. In your testimony, you mentioned how critical it is that...
And let's fit it all in one segment, a justification of the copious amounts of money, 500 billion, 300 billion to the Ukraine while we're at it. Yeah. Biden is an angel who's doing fantastic. Trump, it was bad just because we say so. And and only minorities should be in fear of crimes. Yep, that's the Democrat playbook right there. Great job, buddy. I bet you it's Mayorkas and homegirl right there that's going to peg this very fella. That's his reward for being a good boy.
That the CFATS program is reauthorized. I'm particularly invested in the CFATS program because there are 4 facilities covered by the program in New Jersey's 8th Congressional District. How does the CFATS program help keep our critical infrastructure safe?
Congressman, the CFATS program, the Chemical Facilities Anti-Terrorism Standards, allow us to inspect facilities to ensure it's...
Correct, mutated. Correct. The majority is being oppressed. The majority. But if you listen to the talking head punditry from the Democrats, it's just it's just as many minorities as we can nitpick at, and it doesn't make it seem like an actual American problem. And there you see it, folks. Plain and simple, clear as day. Crystal clear, like looking through the water. That's the big lie. We bust them time and time again, trying to sell us. It's not every American that's suffering, just the minorities, and we need to protect the minorities. Screw every American as a whole. Well, I think, Orange Man bad. Just never forget that. Orange Man bad. And, bear that in mind and keep on fighting. Listen, if there's ever going to be another show, which there is, I promise, a lot more, that you're going to watch, I will do the appropriate promoting. I hate using these terms. I would love for you guys to be there when Cannabis Conservative, who has agreed already via text to appear on a Wednesday or a Friday. Please be there because I have a lot of questions for him about what is going on. Remember, this is a very successful journalist and Marine veteran. Yeah, Marine combat veteran who has done his work, overseas and is doing his work as a patriot right here, stateside. And as always, I am always honored and proud to have him. And I will make sure, all right, it is my due diligence, it is my duty to make sure that everything I ask gets us the maximum amount of important information that we need to know going in, because this is the last election I have energy for to care about. If they are able to strip it from a man who has every right to be involved, where does it stop? Everybody, I don't say this often, this part. So I say it in the name of patriotism, okay? Remember, weird about spirituality. I know, old hat gets old, blah, blah, blah. But just bless America, okay? I can say that. Bless America for what it can be. And we have to fight tooth and nail for it on a philosophical level, on a verbal level, and who knows what other levels it's going to take, because it's all just slipping right under our feet. Cherish your loved ones. Thank you again, Seafowls. I'm going to put you in the description right now. And to each and every one of you, keep the peels, mutated, White Dragon, everybody that has been here. Big Cat, Silver Girl, Base Girl. I appreciate each and every one of you. Peaceful Pug, all of you. Thank you so much. Good night. I'm gonna go for a bike ride because I'm pissed, man. I'm absolutely pissed. Good night. God damn.